Good evening, friends, and welcome to our Monday evening service. Um, I'm really happy to be with you again today. I was gone to India for the past week, and so I'm glad to be sitting again with you for our weekly service and practice. So thank you for joining me today. And without further ado, we're going to get started with our initial liturgy, and then we'll have our first 15 minutes of meditation, and we'll have time to talk some more. So let me share my screen here. Okay, I think that will work. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. And now for our 3 refuges. I take refuge in the Buddha. May all sentient beings understand the Great Way profoundly and bring forth the Bodhi mind. I take refuge in the Dharma. May all sentient beings deeply enter the Sutra treasury and have wisdom vast as the sea. I take refuge in the Sangha. May all sentient beings form together a great assembly, one and all in harmony. Now for the Bodhicitta prayer. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. And the 6 perfections. As bodhisattvas, we seek to practice generosity, discipline, patience, exertion, meditation, and wisdom. All right. So now we will begin our first 15 minutes of seated meditation. Or as I've said before, if you're lying in bed, lying meditation. If you're washing dishes meditation. If you're on a walk with your partner, your family, your friend, walking meditation. All of these ways are great ways to be in the moment, and that's why we meditate. Okay. So again, we'll have the chukpi to start us and end us, but you'll see the timer there as well. Okay, so before we begin our Dharma talks, we chant the Gata on the opening of the sutras. So we will do that now. And you'll see it right here. It goes like this. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. All right. So sit back, grab your evening beverage of choice. Mine's coffee because it's 7:20 a.m. here in Vietnam. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I chose the topic I chose today in my Zen Minute. So this last week for Thanksgiving, we went to Bodh Gaya, as you see in the picture behind me. Oh, here, the picture behind me, the Mahabodhi temple. And for 4 days, I walked around the city, walked around the Mahabodhi temple, had the opportunity a couple of times, sit, meditate under the Bodhi tree. But through my head the whole time was Chan Master Wu Man telling me, if you meet the Buddha, you kill the Buddha. If you meet the ancestral patriarchs, you kill the ancestral patriarchs. That's in his commentary to the Zen koan called Jiao Zhou's Dog, where a monk asked Jiao Zhou, does a dog have Buddha nature? To which Jiao Zhou responded, Wu. Wu having a like an onion, has many different meanings, skins you can peel off of it. But in the end, Wu doesn't mean no by itself. It means absence. As in the Taoist thought of before creation, before existence, before what we call in Buddhism, before Namarupa. And in Taoism, they say it's from absence that the 10,000 things come forth. What are those 10,000 things? 10,000 just being a large number means everything in the cosmos that we can see, hear, taste, touch with our senses, right? So everything springs forth from absence. So his response, often translated as no, Wu, is much deeper. It's an onion that you peel apart. It's basically a non-dualistic answer, non-dualism, okay? There is nothing that both has and has not Buddha nature. With the existence of Buddha nature, there is only the existence of Buddha nature because there is no Buddha nature. And there is no Buddha nature only because there is the existence of Buddha nature. This exists because that exists. This does not exist because that does not exist type of non-duality thinking, Namarupa. Being that before thought, form and name and form. So through my mind the whole time while I'm there in the city, and I mean, like, it was a constant vein of thought for me. If you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. If you meet the ancestral patriarchs, kill the ancestral patriarchs. So what does that mean? Guogu, the Chan teacher, who was the assistant to Shenyang for many years before he disrobed, moved to Florida. I think he's still in Florida now and teaching. He says when you know something, you kill it. That's what he wrote in his version of The Gateless Barrier, I think he calls his book, but it's the same collection of koans. But in his book, he says, when you know something, you kill it. And I like his definition, though I think there's more to it. So when you know the Buddha, you kill the Buddha. So when Wu Men said, if you meet the Buddha, kill the Buddha. If you meet the ancestral patriarchs, kill the ancestral patriarchs. So according to Guogu's translation, that means know them. Not just know them superficially. Know them deeply. And when you do so, you kill them. How do you kill the Buddha? And why would you want to kill the Buddha? When you know the Buddha, you know that his teachings are such that all things are the Buddha. Thich Nhat Hanh called it interbeing. We all inter-are. We all exist together. Knowing the Buddha is knowing also that the Buddha exists because I exist, because you exist, because we exist. We all exist because the Buddha exists, and the Buddha only exists because we exist. Kill the Buddha. It really means kill the self. Stop viewing the Buddha as separate from yourself. Stop viewing the ancient masters, the ancient patriarchs, as Wu Men called them. Stop viewing them as separate from yourselves. When they no longer exist because the self no longer exists, you have killed them. Kill the self. It means kill the Buddha. Kill the self. It means kill the ancestral patriarchs. How do we kill the self? Again, nobody's talking about suicide here. We're talking about ceasing to see yourself separate from the rest of existence. Stop seeing yourself as separate from the 10,000 things, as they would call it in Taoism. and see all of our original source is absence. In a few more Buddhist terminology, furthered by Nagarjuna, the great philosopher that many have called second only to the Buddha in philosophy of Buddhism. It's to understand emptiness, that nothing is inherently existent of its own. And that's really the Buddha's teachings on dependent origination. That same teaching from India is the same teaching from China in Taoism, that we exist from the absence into the presence. And because we exist, we also don't exist. So as I'm walking the streets of Bodh Gaya, I'm thinking to myself, know the Buddha. Know the Buddha. Kill the Buddha. Bodh Gaya makes it an interesting environment to see the world as a whole and yourself as a part of it and not as an individual. There are many beautiful temples in Bodh Gaya. Some have huge, giant statues to the Buddha. Some have small statues to the Buddha. They all represent the Buddha, big and small. I found it again, a lesson in existence. There's the greatness of the cosmos, and there's the minutiae of the cosmos. There are the great Buddha statues and the very small Buddha statues, and everything in between. Inside the Mahabodhi compound is a Hindu temple. Just on the outside of the wall of the Mahabodhi compound is another Hindu temple. Now, of course, a lot of that has to do with politics of India. And there are lots of Buddhists that go around there passing out flyers saying, you know, hey, we want to kick out all the non-Buddhists. We want to get them off of our council for the management of the Mahabodhi complex, etc. But all dharmas are empty. Buddhism only exists because Hinduism exists. Hinduism exists only because Hinduism didn't exist before. There's so much this dichotomy in Bodh Gaya that doesn't really match the Buddha. You know, the Buddha never called his religion, his philosophy, his teachings, he never called it Buddhism. He called it the Dhamma Vinaya. The teachings and the discipline. The discipline meaning the discipline of the monks who follow it, the Vinaya. It wasn't Buddhism, it was the Dhamma Vinaya. And whatever it is, it's just a name. Here, after our next 15 minutes of seated meditation, we're going to chant the Heart Sutra. I bring this up a lot. All dharmas are empty. The Buddha Dharma, the Hindu Dharma, the Jesus Dharma, the Moses Dharma, the Muhammad Dharma. The teachings of all of them are empty of self-existence. They all exist because something brought them into existence, like all the rest of the cosmos. They exist because they don't exist. They exist because I exist, because you exist, because we all exist. They exist in our minds. So in summary, what a great lesson to me as I walk the streets of Bodh Gaya, of knowing the Buddha. Not knowing when Sujata came and gave him rice milk, porridge, whatever. Not knowing the cave that he sat in and nearly starved himself to death eating 1 grain of rice a day. Those are not the things I mean about knowing the Buddha. Walking the streets of Bodh Gaya, I came to more clearly know the Buddha. Know the Buddha in me, know the Buddha in you, know the Buddha in nature, know the Buddha in Jiaozhou's dog. Absence is that original source tissue for all things. So think about that. Kill the Buddha. Kill the self. Okay, now it's time for our next 15 minutes of seated meditation. So let me find my timer again. There it is. All right, I got to reset it, obviously. Okay. Okay. Now it's time for some of our together action, as we call it. And we will chant the Heart Sutra, as I like to refer to it as our practice manual. So let me pull up the Heart Sutra here for everyone. This one we have to make bigger because it's a lot of text. So let's see here. There we go. All right, let me make that bigger. Good. Now, hopefully everyone can see that. The Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. Same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore, in emptiness, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of I, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajna Paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra. is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha. Okay, we will now do our dedication of merit. So let me put down the moktak and grab my bell. All sentient beings are one seamless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone, those who are ill, those who are at war, who are hungry, and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to Elaine, Brian, Stephanie, Tom, Mike, all beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. Now we will recite the 4 great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day. Thank you for joining me today, friends. I'm happy to be back practicing with you, sharing my practice with you. I hope that maybe you were able to sit in for a few minutes today and gain a little bit of personal insight through meditation, through chanting, through our discussion of the Dharma, whatever it is that helps you understand your place in the cosmos that we all enter are. So thank you, folks. We will be back for Wednesday morning 30-minute practice. So I look forward to seeing you then. That starts at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So if you have time on your way to work or before work, maybe if you're on the West Coast, that's pretty early, 5 o'clock in the morning, I guess. But join us, and we will just have a short meditation period, a little bit of chanting, and start our day off right. So we'll see you Wednesday morning for that. Okay, have a great day, great evening, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. May you all be well and happy.